I've seen women getting faster and faster. Like it used to be 40 was the new 30, and now 50 is the new 40. Like women in their 50s and 60s now, even in the group of the ladies you're running against in like in Toronto, like you're on the track
Mhm.
training with, they're setting world records.
Welcome to Unstoppable at Any Age. I'm Dr. Shauna Daru, naturopathic doctor, master's athlete, and founder of a global movement helping women train for their future health. This podcast exists for one reason: to expand what you believe is possible with age. Each week I sit down with women who are redefining the trajectory of their lives, athletes, scientists, founders, and leaders who are continuing to build strength, performance, and momentum in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Along the way, we explore the science of metabolic health, movement, and longevity, and the daily decisions that protect your brain, your body, and your future. Because how you move today determines how you live tomorrow. This is Unstoppable at Any Age. Today, I'm here with Paula Wiltse, a dedicated runner and coach whose journey back to the sport evolved into something much bigger than competition alone. What I love about Paula is that she represents what's possible when you stay in it. She's not only continued to perform at a high-level master's athlete, she's leaned into it, refining how she trains, how she recovers, and how she sets goals at this stage of life. She's also become a powerful advocate for women over 40, helping them to train smarter, stay competitive, and keep chasing meaningful goals, proving that there's always more miles ahead to run. And in this conversation, you'll hear exactly how she's doing that, both for herself and the women she coaches. Let's get into it. Welcome, Paula. I'm so grateful you're here with me today.
Thanks for having me on.
Great. So I wanted to tell our listeners about how we met, because some people may have heard your name before, but maybe others haven't. And I learned about you when I was training for the Boston Marathon on 2022, and you were the Canadian marathon record holder in my age category at the time. I think that was your Chicago race where you done a 2:58, and that just blew my mind as a beginner marathoner. That was possible at 50. And at the same time, I looked you up and you were like a Canadian 5K champion. And again, that's quite a range. And not to mention that when you ran your fastest marathon at 46. Tell me a bit more about
Right.
master's training for you.
Master's training, it hasn't looked that different than when I was training when I was in my 30s. I've just had to take a different approach with it. I still do the same weekly kind of training, but I would say I tailor it back a little bit. I don't do the high mileage like I used to, but then I'm not running marathons right now either. So we'll see if I have a marathon on the agenda in the future, maybe when I turn 60. We're not sure yet.
That's awesome. You coached me last summer for a 5K race, and I sought you out again because I was looking for a coach to get me ready for that, switching from the marathon to the 5K in 1 year. And I read your bio and you said the 5K was your favorite race. And I thought, that's it. And I love having a coach who's older than me and faster than me. I find that's a great match because number one, you'll take my big dream seriously. And number two, I feel like we can have an honest conversation about like downtime, about smart training, about injury prevention, and all of that. So it was pretty awesome. I didn't match your 5K times last summer. I saw in your notes that you had some like 1909 and 1910 5K times. I think I hit 2008. So you still got me beat.
I didn't quite get where I want it to be, but we're still working on that. So
That's awesome. So have you always been an athlete?
I would say yes. And when I wasn't competing, I was still an athlete at heart. I started running like a lot of people do when they're a kid in public school. And right away, when I went out, I remember going out for the cross country team because I was only in grade 2. And it was instant love for me. Running was my thing. I did all other sports and always been super competitive, even in the other sports. Even if I wasn't that good, I was still competitive. So that's just in me by nature, I think. But running's always been my love. And I think cross country was probably my first love.
Oh, that's awesome. Cross country, I didn't even know that you could still compete in cross country as a master's athlete.
Yeah,
It's a big deal here. And
it is a big deal and it's fun.
Actually, I didn't find it that fun, but perhaps if I'd trained for it properly and done some hills and put the spikes on and traveled through the mud in advance, it might have been fun.
It's a whole different experience for sure. Back to your question, my journey's been a little bit different where when I was 14, I left running. I left all sports, which I think is pretty common, and especially young female athletes, they tend to leave their sport at a very early age. And for me, I didn't actually come back to the running until I was in my 30s after having my daughter. So that was, I left the sport for many years and then managed to come back to it, which I'm forever thankful.
So you didn't have the competitive years in high school and university or college or
No,
any of that.
no, I did
Interesting.
not.
And you
Yeah,
came back so fast. That's it. That's again, I find that really inspiring and it just gives a sense of possibility.
for sure.
So, what are you currently training for?
As you mentioned, the 5K is my favorite. So I'm still on the 5K. My season last year didn't go quite as I had hoped in the fall because I had a little injury off a race. And then my goal races didn't happen. So I'm still on that 5K train. And the goal is to break 19. So I have quite a few 5K races lined up to give me some chances to go after it. So that is the goal.
That's awesome. So, tell me about a full training week for you right now. So, how do you structure your runs? What do your key workouts look like? What's recovery? I would just love to hear what that's like for you.
Yeah, I still tend to run 5 to 6 days a week. When I'm kind of in full training, I still do the 6 days. But if I'm feeling like I need that extra recovery day, I definitely take it. And again, a typical week is I still try to structure a speed workout in, and I still try to structure like a threshold workout in. And long runs, again, don't look the same. My long runs, there's no need for them to really ever get over like 20K. And I just do that basically for endurance and fitness. And then my other days are super easy. And I've learned since being a master, I should say, since being over 50, how important strength is. So I try to incorporate 2 days a week consistently. And if I can get that third day in, that's perfect.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
really noticed that if I don't do the strength, the injuries happen like back to back because I don't
Mhm.
hold on to muscle anymore, especially if there's a lot of cardio happening.
Correct. And I think as runners, we don't like to do strength.
No.
And when you're in your 30s, you can get away with it, but you certainly can't get away with it as easy as you get older.
Yeah. Have you learned to love it yet?
I'm getting there. I have a very challenging program that a physio had made up for me. So it's been a challenge, which is good. I think that's good for me, anyways, but it's tough. But I'm consistently twice a week and still trying to get that third day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do the
Yeah.
twice a week as well. And it's a game changer in terms of feeling strong in my body and getting faster and holding on to that speed as well. Is there anything else you do differently in your 50s that allows you to keep performing at such a high level?
I think I'm more cautious with the recovery. Again, I think that's a very important aspect to it. When I was younger, I could do a kind of a workout on the Saturday and then still run long on the Sunday. I don't do any back to backs anymore. I make sure there's lots of recovery time in between any kind of quality at all. And again, if I've had a rough week or like at work and my work is quite manual. So I will take the extra recovery days when I need to. That's one of the most important things I do. And I would say I've had to really not watch my diet, but I keep my diet really clean now.
So you
So,
just can't get away with things anymore.
no, no. I
No.
still have fun. I still like sugar and I still eat my goodies, but I watch a little bit more what I eat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we need so much more protein now, especially.
Yeah,
And that combines really well with the strength training and keeps you full for longer and fueled better and sleeping better. And I
exactly.
talk a lot about metabolic health in my work just because, like, postmenopause women's bodies really struggle with blood sugar regulation.
Mm.
And I found that as an athlete, I've really had to nail the nutrition to get that as
Yeah, I
well
agree.
in a way that I didn't need to pay attention to before either.
Yeah, we got away with so much more when we were younger.
I know, but I like thinking about it as longevity in sport too. I want to keep doing this into my 70s, 80s if I can. So you want a strong body and a resilient one that can keep going, not one that's just going to get your race time once and then blow up.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Yeah.
Is there anything that you had to stop doing or stop believing to continue to improve as a master's athlete?
I would say the one thing I had to stop doing was comparing myself to other people, to other runners. I think in our running community, we all know each other. Like it's an amazing community of people, and you know who you're going to line up to, and you know who you're chasing. And sometimes you forget that really it's about you. You're on the start line for you. You have your own watch on. You should never really compare yourself to other people. So I had to really wrap my head around that and realize that if I was going to pursue my goals and continue to strive to be my best, I had to just worry about me.
Which is probably hard if you're very competitive,
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
reining
Yeah.
yourself in.
There's all these apps out there, like even Strava, like we follow people and we see what they're doing. And I may look at someone I run against and she's doing 100 kilometers a week and I'm only doing 60 or 70. And it really doesn't matter. It's all about you in the
It's
end.
true. And somebody else's optimal training volume might be completely different from yours. I'm somebody who literally can't run more than 4 days a week without injury still. And I cross train a lot and it works really well for me. And if you looked at my mileage, it's very low compared to
Yeah, well,
others.
remember when I was setting up your program, like we really spread your days out and made sure that you were training to avoid injury
Yeah.
as well. So getting fitter and avoiding injury, that was the key, right?
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing what you can do without overloading your body. You're lucky you
Hmm.
can still run 6 days a week. I, at this point, can't. Maybe that'll change again. I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there somebody that you've always looked up to in terms of chasing the goals that you have? Because again, they're like a little out of reach for most people. And I've been lucky to have you to look up to.
Oh, I think there's always those runners out there. I think my favorite runner, I still watch her today. She's a master runner now, is Desi Linden from the US. There's our Canadian athletes who are killing it, like the women in their 40s now, like Melindy and Natasha Woodick, like they're killing it out there. So it's hard not to find inspiration and even seeing what they're, even though they're 10 or 20 years younger than I am now, it's just so impressive and so inspiring to just watch them and see what they're doing.
I know they're still competing at like international level under
Mm.
their 40s, which is, I just love that they're breaking those barriers and showing us what's possible. I was really late getting back into running, like 48 late. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think I've peaked yet, which is
You
really
haven't.
cool.
I'm going to vouch for that. I see you going much faster, even in a 5K.
That's awesome. I just think it's great to flip your brain around that because it's just not the typical aging message that we're told. So you've always loved the 5K and speed work. Why does speed matter more as we age?
I think that with speed, I think we start to lose those fast twitch muscles first, right? So we're not only battling that, we're battling the loss of muscle mass as we go through perimenopausal and menopausal. So the speed is the best bang for your buck. And in order for you to be faster at any other distance, whether it's a half marathon or a marathon, you still have to be able to do speed and get your legs turning over fast and tap into another energy system. Because if you're running the same pace all the time, then your body doesn't know what it feels like to go faster. And it's hard to hold that same pace. So speed to me is important for any distance you want to run.
No, I agree. Like the faster your turnover is at any distance, the easier it will be to hold the goal pace at whatever you're training for.
Exactly.
Right now, I'm training for very short distances on the track, like 800 meters. So we do tons of 200-meter repeats. And it's way faster than my race pace, but it's just practicing the nervous system and the turnover and
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
power so
Yeah.
that the 800-meter pace doesn't feel that bad.
Exactly.
It's going to hurt. I know.
It's going to hurt. It's a whole different hurt.
It's a different hurt, but it's not as scary to start out at that pace.
No, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah, that's why I switched to the 5K this year for last year was to just practice that again because I was feeling that I was losing some power. Just doing marathons again, like you said, at the same pace over and over again wasn't really I wasn't progressing anywhere. It was the same pace.
And I think people do get stuck in that rut, right? Everyone, the buzzword's kind of the marathon, right? They think everybody wants to do a marathon. They have to do a marathon. There's steps to get there. And if you want to do it well, which many people can, you need to take those steps and you need to include everything. You can't just go out and just run the same thing all the time.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
marathon training's really hard on the body in a certain way. It's
Mhm.
just the amount of mileage and those long runs and the recovery time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what does recovery look like for you right now? Is it just days off and walking, or is there anything extra that you need to do for that? Has that changed at all?
My quality of sleep is something I fight with a lot. I try to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep in a night if possible. That's in a perfect world. But I think the quality of sleep's really important. And I know on the days that I haven't had good quality. So it's something I just pay attention to. And definitely I take the days off when I'm feeling like I need to. If I feel like I'm run down, taking an extra day off doesn't phase me now, where it would have when I was younger. I would have been like, oh, I can't take a day off. I got to just push through it. Now I'm like, no, my body needs a break and I'll take it. And I think that's really important for master runners.
Yeah, if I've been pushing it hard, my body doesn't give me a choice.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
something I can push through like I used to before. To a degree, sometimes you start a workout and you're not sure and it goes great. And
Hmm.
sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to bail on it. You do a lot of coaching, and right now you're really shifting to focus on women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. Tell me a bit more about your approach with that. And if a woman comes to you and she's feeling stuck, what might she be doing wrong with her training?
I think that as we grew up in my generation, when I was younger, we were led to believe that a woman going through menopause, which actually really wasn't talked about much, that we're all the same and we're going to feel the same things. And that's not true at all. We're all individuals and we go through things differently. So I take the same approach with coaching. Everybody's an individual. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. And I think that's really important for people to realize. So again, it comes down to that comparing yourself to others. We're not all made the same. And I talk about the speed. Some people don't have that turnover and can never really get that turnover. They can work at it and they can get faster, but it might not be where their strength is. I just find coaching needs to be for the individual, first of all. And you ask if someone's feeling stuck. I think a lot of times stuck is just you need a reset sometimes. You need to take a step back and see what maybe you're doing wrong or if there's something you're missing. So I think there's a lot of different things you can look at. And then sometimes your body just needs to mix things up. And again, like I said, we get stuck in that doing the same thing over and over. And sometimes we just need to just take a different approach and readjust that a bit.
I love that. I agree. I work a lot with women going through perimenopause and menopause, and there isn't a single path through. And there's maybe 100 different symptoms that there could be. And
Mhm.
every woman's going to have their own set of annoyances and their own set of gifts that come out of it as well. And I guess it's the same with training is that we have to match the plan to the woman, just as I have to match the treatment plan to the woman based on what she's experiencing and where she needs extra support. I love that approach of matching the plan to the woman. And also, what I really liked working with you is that I felt like I was safe to put out a big goal and that you also had bigger goals than me. And I find that sometimes people don't take me very seriously making big goals in my 50s. I just learned that the indoor world track championships next year is in Florida. And it starts on the day of my birthday. So it's the start of a new age category. And I can't even tell you how excited that got me.
That's so exciting.
I've got my 1 year training plan ready to go now.
There you go. That is exciting.
Can you imagine like the first race being on your birthday of a new age category?
I
So,
know, right? And
yeah.
only runners will know what we're talking about when we talk about aging up and we're young in that next age category.
Masters runners, oh my goodness, it's a big deal to be at the start of an age category. I had some wicked times at age 50 that I'm still
Yeah,
chasing now.
yeah, exactly.
And yeah, your next big one's 60. So you'll be doing the same thing, right?
Oh,
signing up for all the
100%.
races after your 60th birthday.
Yeah. I'll be checking out the little road records and seeing where I can go, what I can do. And yeah,
I've mapped out everything in Ontario, but I haven't looked at World yet. So,
yeah. That would be great. And it being in Florida is it's perfect. Like at least you can get to Florida fairly easy, right?
yeah, it's a pretty easy trip and same time zone and a lot hotter in March,
Yeah.
but that's fine. I don't mind heat.
There you go. Especially after this winter.
Oh, wish I was there now. So, if you were designing a simple, effective training framework for a woman over 45 who has a decent running base, what would you include in that? Let's say she's training for, let's jump in the middle, like a half marathon.
I think like to me, the minimum requirement like for a half would probably be 3 to 4 days of running a week. I would still emphasize how important the strength is. And again, that would be 2 days a week. And again, building a running schedule, like it's, I don't, there's so much info out there now and it's pretty standard and it's pretty common. There'd be a speed session and there'd be a threshold session and there'd be that long run, but there would be easy days and there would be recovery days. And I like to do little road tests too. I like to once in a while just throw in little time trials because
Hmm.
it helps us gauge where people are at, especially if not a lot of people like to race. So if you have a goal race and you don't have any races leading up to it, it's nice to fit those time trials in on your schedule as well. Every once
Right.
in a while, every 8 weeks kind of thing, go out and do a little tester.
That's awesome. Right. Because when I was first getting back into running, I wasn't aware of how much my like traffic light breaks were helping me and
Yeah.
as a rest. So when the first time I ran a 10K straight without a traffic light break was very humbling
Yeah.
in terms of the
Yeah.
pace that I thought I could hold without
Yeah.
I was running downtown Toronto at the time, so there were quite a lot of traffic light breaks. And often my runs would be more like interval sessions than a steady state run.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
after that first time trial, I very quickly found a route that I could just go round and round without taking a break because I needed to fill in a fitness gap.
And it does make a difference. And also, I think too, like yeah, sometimes as we talk, I'm forgetting the little things like, if you're doing a speed session and if you're doing a threshold, there needs to be a proper warm up and proper drills and things like that before you start and a proper cool down. And there's no real shortcut. People need to, that warm up and that cool down is just as important as the quality in the middle of it. So those are all things I try to emphasize to my runners.
Yeah, they're really important so you don't get injured. And yeah, same thing, just like we're not 30 anymore, we can't just run out the door.
Exactly.
So, how did perimenopause or menopause affect your training? Did you notice much of a shift there? Was it really obvious for you or not really?
I would think it's obvious to most of us, especially runners. I have a lot of friends going through it now, and they're dealing with, like I said, everybody's different with what they deal with. I was tired, lots of joint pain. Didn't have the hot flashes, thank God. But I remember the joint pain stands out to me more than anything else because I don't remember hearing that joint pain could be because of menopause. It could be because that loss of estrogen. Like I didn't really know any of those things. Growing up, we didn't have the same education about menopause as we do now. I had to adjust to that. Sleep quality again wasn't great. Those were the biggest changes I noticed. So that would affect my running. If you're running with joint pain all the time and you're not sleeping well because of the joint pain, that was a tough part to get through for sure.
Did it last for very long for you? Was that like a year or two or less or more?
It's probably a couple of years. And then I did go on HRT, and that's what made the difference for me, made a huge difference for me with the joint pain. I probably put up with it for probably 2 years, I would say.
Women right now are lucky that they know that's a menopause symptom. There's the whole, we call it the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause. And
Right.
I didn't know that when I was going through it, or at least through
Yeah.
perimenopause, because I remember when I was sitting at my desk getting up and just like hips
Mm,
aching and wondering what was going on because I
yeah.
was fit and active.
I
And
truly had no idea before going through it
yeah,
that
I
that was
know.
what was causing that. Yeah.
I
So,
know. It's a common one. And again, when you don't have the hot flashes, it's hard to attribute that to the hormone changes because you think you've
right.
breezed through the part that everybody else suffers through.
Exactly.
I'm glad the HRT was helpful for you. Yeah, I find that a lot of women, it goes away. Like sometimes it's just a perimenopause change and then it improves, but sometimes it doesn't. And
Mm.
hormones can be really helpful in terms of, yeah, like reducing that inflammation around the joints and supporting the tendons and the recovery a bit as well. So, if a woman listening feels like her best performances are behind her, what would you want her to understand about what's still possible? Let's say she's in her 40s, 50s, or even 60.
I, first of all, would not ever agree with that statement because
Yes.
I think that we all should continue to set goals. And I think we all can strive to work towards those goals and just be the best person we can be. I think that, again, I talk about a different approach. It really is a different approach with training, but I've seen it. Like I've seen women getting faster and faster. Like it used to be 40 was the new 30, and now 50 is a new 40. Like women in their 50s and 60s now, even in the group of the ladies you're running against in like in Toronto, like you're on the track
Hmm.
training with, they're setting world records,
Yes. In their
right?
70s.
And it's so exciting. So I definitely believe that you should continue to set goals and strive to be the best you can be because it's possible. Like anything is possible.
Yeah, this year's been hugely eye-opening for me to see. I knew women in their 40s were excelling and I knew some in their early 50s, but to see the 70s,
I
that's just
know.
blowing my mind. I was
Yeah,
lucky
it's
enough to
so
see one of
exciting.
those world record races at the championships.
Is that the 100 meter?
The 60 with Wendy.
This right, Wendy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like how exciting is that?
it was amazing. The women
Yeah.
in the 70s, like they stole the show the entire weekend, all the sprinters. And
Yeah.
switch
I
power,
just
switch turnover. They could probably all do a 200 faster than I can.
oh yeah, these women are fast.
They're
They're
really
super
fast.
fast. Yeah, I don't think performance has to disappear with age at all.
Yeah, and also to be willing to mix it up if you're not lit up with what you've been training for before, right? You are currently training for 5Ks because that's the goal that you've got right now, and it used to be the marathon. And
Yep,
it's okay to do a sidestep and find the joy in it again.
exactly. And I have fun with it. I love hitting the track. I love going out and like those that short like the 400 repeats is my favorite workout. It's always been my favorite workout, I think, but I love it. I love to throw on my faster shoes and get on the track and see how fast I can go and take the little recovery and go again. Like to me that's fun. That being said, I will probably try to do a half marathon in the fall. Maybe, like I said, I'm getting closer to 60. Maybe that's not too far away, but I'll change gears in the fall. But right now, I just want to focus on the 5K and getting faster. Maybe I'll see you on the track.
Yes. Yeah, come do some outdoor races.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. I actually like the half marathon a lot as well. I like
Yeah,
that
me too.
distance. It's you can still go at a good pace, but it's not as painful in terms of recovery and downtime afterwards. And
Yeah, I think I remember having a conversation with you, and I said to me, the 10K is the hardest distance to run. I
right,
love the 5K and I love the half, but the 10K is tough. You have to run almost as fast as you're running that 5K. And then you get to the half and you can settle back in.
that's right. You can ease off almost 20 seconds a kilometer,
Exactly, right? Yeah.
which feels pretty comfortable. All right,
Yes.
awesome. I love that. I love about keep dreaming big. Anything's possible. It's never too late to start. The more of these women you read about, the more examples you'll find of people who came back to sport older, often late 40s, early 50s, but some even in their 60s, they came back to
I
it
know.
and they're
Yeah.
doing great. What does unstoppable at any age mean to you?
It's just that continue to set goals and strive to be the best you can be and keep it about you, right? Like you're unstoppable. It's not about anybody else. So set the goals, go after them, and just continue to strive, right? To be out there and do it and don't be afraid to try different things.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's great if you can get a wonderful coach like you behind you to help you do it, right?
For sure.
So, if the listeners would like to find out more about you, what is your website and your Instagram handle?
So I just go by Wiltse Paula, so my last name first, Paula on Instagram, but I'm just launching a new website. So you'll be able to find me on Instagram as well under Unfinished Miles. And my website will be that unfinishedmiles.com. So I'm just building it. I hope to launch it next week, but that's going to be the easiest way they can find me for sure.
I love that. That's a great
Yeah.
name.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
love it. It fits this conversation so perfectly. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with me today. You are still an inspiration to me. I'm still chasing your 5K times. And you'll get faster and I'll get faster, and maybe one day we'll meet in a race.
There you go. That sounds good. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you again. If this conversation expanded what you believe is possible, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, follow the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. This podcast is part of a global movement called Women Who Move, helping women train for their future health through daily movement. You can join us at drshaunadaru.com. Because strength isn't behind you, it's built through what you choose to do next. I'm Dr. Shauna Daru, and this is Unstoppable at Any Age.